If you like this podcast, then consider checking out the other great podcasts at metalsharkstudio.blogspot.com.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to make a couple quick things before the Roundtable episode. First, once again, San Diego, if you're going to be out there, shoot an email, yada, yada, yada. Just want to thank everybody for listening and all the amazing community support we've been having going on. It's been pretty awesome. It's been a little over a year, and I could have never imagined that it would have been that active. So much appreciated, and thanks for everybody who's listening. You know, involved, not involved, doesn't matter. I will be away in 2 weeks, so I would like to put together a big feedback episode. So if anybody has any kind of feedback on mods, anything, feel free to send it in. I'd like to kind of put together a community episode if that's all right. And so if you have something, even if you think it's silly, send it in. Because I just sit in my basement and talk about Skyrim. So can it be any more ridiculous than that? Otherwise, if you want to contact the show, obviously, SkyrimAddictPodcast@gmail.com, SkyrimAddict on Twitter. I will answer it if you talk to me there. I usually just post the show stuff there. But also, make sure you check out the latest Earwash with Blake and Andrew. And Dale was on there, which was a pretty good interview, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I may have listened to it while I was working. Otherwise, I'm drawing a blank. I'm trying to do this real quick before I put the show up in the feed. So forgive me, I was in the middle of cleaning a fish tank. Not cleaning a fish, that's a whole different thing. My son would be horribly disturbed if I was actually cleaning the fish. Otherwise, yeah, join the Facebook group if you want. I understand many people aren't on Facebook, so if that's not your thing, I completely get it. You could always use Twitter. I would completely interact there. I have no issues with that. I use Twitter all the time. Just my other account's a little more abrasive. Anyway, other than that, just want to thank everybody for listening. That's all. Appreciate it very much. I was on this roundtable. I don't recall what I said. I was at least on for a little bit. I think I had to go out that evening. I believe it involved food and beer and things like that. So enjoy the episode. I'll be back this weekend. I believe I'll be putting out the lore episode that Ben put together. I joined him for that. I think he'll be trying to do that every week. And I don't know if he's going to be rotating co-hosts or how he's going to work it. But it was a good first episode. And hopefully we can build from there. And that'd be awesome. But give that a listen if you would. I'd appreciate it. And any feedback's great. Any, what's that thing called? iTunes feedback. Fantastic. Emails, whatever. That's great. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Check it out. I'm sure I said that 4 times already because I'm, like, ready to run upstairs to put this thing together. All right. Later, everyone. Listen to the episode. Here it goes.
I like what I see, my dear. Oh, yes. Yes!
You like milkshakes, huh? All right, check this one.
Hey, what are you doing? No, that's not what I'm interested in.
Didn't think you could handle this anyway.
What? That little tease? Do you know who I am? Don't you dare walk away from me, you slut! Leading me on and turning cold at the last minute. I don't think so.
What just happened?
He was converted before our very own eyes.
Who's rapping? Overkeen. Dragons? I'm not overkeen. I'll dice them like a knife, slicing right through an aubergine. My dragon shout flow is sweeter than a soda stream. You won't believe your eyes. I'm like an overload of dopamine. A broadsword.
Welcome to the 4th edition of a Skyrim Addict podcast roundtable. We are the show who compares and contrasts Skyrim experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone.
Hey.
Hello. This week, again, I am Andrew, and we are joined by Colin and Victor. So if we could just do I'm sure people are getting tired of this by now, but a brief introduction again. Colin, where are you from, and what is a couple of your favorite music albums?
Hi, my name's Colin. I'm calling from England. My character's name is Gunvar Oakenmaster. And let's see, my favorite... I don't really have any favorite albums. My favorite bands are Queen, and I would have to say Led Zeppelin. That's about it, really. But I don't have any favorite albums. I usually just download the most popular ones.
Very nice. Victor, do you have anything there?
Hello, I'm Victor. I'm from Massachusetts. My character's name is Slythe Aaron. He is now level 33. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what my favorite music albums are. I don't really play favorites with anything. So.
Do you have just something you listen to or are listening to recently?
Oh yeah, recently. Well, recently I'm listening to the latest Tune Yards album. Great band, fairly new. They've been around for a few years. Excellent stuff. Clap Your Hands, Oh Yeah, another good band. They had a new album out. I listen to so much stuff I can't even begin to tell you how. I listen to a subscription, music online. So it's like 10 million songs I have access to. So it's insane.
That's great. Yeah, I saw you post something. Was it Tune Yards? Is that what they were called? I saw you post something about them the other day.
Yeah,
Cool.
Awesome band. They're really good.
Yeah. And my name is Andrew. I'm calling in from Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. And a couple of albums I like a lot are the Mooney Suzuki People Get Ready and the Pixies Surfer Rosa.
Pixies.
That I like to point those out. And the name of my character is Mania Ababna. My 3 assigned attributes are speech, two-handed, and restoration. What attributes were you assigned there, Colin?
I got one-handed, illusion, and speech as well.
And I got two-handed and alchemy and enchanting.
That's interesting. We all share at least one attribute there. How's your speech going, Colin? Do you recall what level you're at with your speech now?
I had a lot of spare perks that I didn't use because I didn't put them into anything yet because waiting until I got to level 50 in speech so I could get the merch speed. But I was traveling around doing some shopping and I thought, well, no, if I put the perks now into speech, then I'll be able to get a better price on all the stuff that I'm selling because I didn't want to part with the money. So I did. So I put them all into the haggling one and got up to allure so I could get better prices with the ladies. And then by the time I finished all my selling, I actually did get to level 50, but I had no perks to take the merchant perk.
That's too bad.
So I'm at level 51 in speech now.
That's good. What have you done in order to get it up to 51? Did just basically selling stuff, or have you tried to do any persuasion or intimidation?
Yeah, I got to level from 45 to 50 just selling all my crap in Whiterun. And then I got to level 51 when I went to Rifted for Esbern.
How is Whiterun doing these days? You still big boss of the city?
Yeah, I've got old Vignar waiting in the wings. So when I get rid of Balgruuf, he can take over. And I got all the companions leaning towards the Stormcloaks because I can influence all of them now. So.
Oh, very nice. How about you, Victor? You have anything interesting happening with your character these days?
Yeah, a few things. As far as levels for my attributes, there are my 3, I think I'm around 63 or 4 in my two-handed. I've been trying to use that a lot, although it's been moderately successful. I get killed a lot when I try to use it too much. I've been using a crossbow a lot too. So, and my enchanting I think is around 47 or 8. I just did a bunch of enchanting and alchemy these last couple of sessions, so they're both right around just under 50. So, and actually, I had to make a mad dash to finish the 3 quests for this episode because I got so distracted by the Steam sales and buying other games, and then playing with a mod that I've been using called, I think I mentioned it before, called Helgen Reborn.
Yeah.
And there's a whole series of quests you have to do for Helgen Reborn where you're sort of initiating some recruits into the guards for Helgen, and my God, they just take forever. The mod authors spent a lot of time with this mod, and it's a really good mod overall. But there's such a thing as too much of a good thing. In this case, it was just like insanity. I had to actually go down to novice level just to get through one of them. It was just ridiculous. But so anyway, I made the mad dash today and did a bunch of alchemy to try to get up to 50. I didn't quite make it though. So
I know. I'm right there with you, Victor. I just finished A Cornered Rat about 20 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, it was about an hour and a half for me. But anyway, yeah, totally.
So how's Helgen looking now, Victor?
Actually, nothing yet because I'm still working on recruiting or proving out the recruits. I did all the recruiting, and then there's 6 of them, and I have to take each one of them on a quest, and so. But eventually, I gather from the description of the mod, it will be completely functioning, similar, a little bit bigger than Riverwood, but totally rebuilt. Right now, I think I've finished proving out the recruits, and now I have to go and kill a bunch of bandits in Pine Watch that are massing up to take Helgen back over from the people who are trying to rebuild it. So that's
Pine Watch is a pretty small, unassuming little cabin from the outside appearance. I'm always impressed about how big and expansive Pine Watch gets.
Yeah, it's huge.
Once you get into it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I did another one. He created a dungeon sort of underneath Bleak Falls Barrow. You start on the far side, on the north side of the mountain range. This was the last one I did yesterday, and you end up coming out on the south side underneath Bleak Falls Barrow. It's kind of bizarre. And that one's huge inside too. It's just and beautifully done. He did a gorgeous job with it. Some of the scenes in there are really pretty.
How does that work when you create your own sort of area? Do they just sort of take cells from other dungeons and sort of repurpose them, or do they have to actually program and type all the stuff out themselves? How does that actually work?
Well, no, I think they're very careful not to take cells from others because then you end up with mod conflicts, and that's never a good thing. Things will crash. So they try to find places that don't have anything that the base game or the DLCs do not occupy, and then if another mod tries to use it, well, then you have a conflict that sometimes gets resolved and sometimes doesn't. But the mod authors generally try not to occupy areas that the game already occupies.
Okay. And it looks like we're also joined by our gracious host, Michael David. Michael, are you with us this evening?
Yeah, I just plugged in.
Welcome to the show. How are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Where are you calling in from today?
My house.
His house. On the East Coast somewhere.
Yes, in South Jersey somewhere.
What is your character's name, Michael?
Let's see. This one is Lord Covington.
And you say that's an inside reference to something else. Do you mind telling us what that is, or is that for us to discover?
No, you have to discover. It's only for people who know what it is. It would ruin the joke otherwise.
Okay. What were your 3 assigned attributes, Michael?
Let's see. What was it? Enchanting, sneak, and... Enchanting, sneak... Oh, block.
Block. How's your blocking going? You were talking about that a lot last time.
A little better. I can't really level it up much because I have no stamina to work with, so that creates a bit of an issue. But it's getting there. It's lagging behind the other 2, certainly, but it's getting there.
Have you invested any points into the block tree?
I can only put so many in because I can't level it up enough to keep going in it.
Oh, man.
Because I don't have enough stamina to do certain things.
Yeah.
So I'm like level 40 block, I think.
Wow. That's still not bad. I'm taking forever to get my restoration going at all. Restoration takes forever for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah, because enchanting's pretty easy and sneak's pretty easy to level up, so it's lagging behind those, but those are pretty simple.
Yeah, I have a admission to make. I've actually gotten to level 100 on one of my skills, but it's not any of the 3 skills I was assigned. Enchanting was the first thing I got to 100 on. Just because by trying to get my speech up, I'm smithing lots of jewelry and then enchanting the jewelry and then going off and selling that. But the enchantment skill just boosts so much faster than the speech or anything else does, it seems. It seems like that's the one that goes the fastest.
Yeah, it really does.
Colin, have you had any exciting events happen? Any cool bugs or glitches or interesting finds?
No, not really. No bugs or anything like that. I mean, I've just been going through I haven't been playing that much. I wrote out a few notes that finished off like from where the last time because I hadn't finished the notes of where I got up to. But in the last playthroughs that I've been doing, I've just been doing the main quests of what I've been given. So I've done like a Blade in the Dark, and then all the way down to a cornered rat.
Okay, well, let's just go ahead and get into Blade in the Dark. Can you give us a basic summation of what just the general outline of what a Blade in the Dark is?
So a Blade in the Dark is you go into Riverwood, into the I've forgotten the name of the inn now. You go inside the inn at Riverwood.
Is that Sleeping Giant?
That's it, the Sleeping Giant Inn.
Oh.
And you speak to Delphine, and she gives you the horn. When I got the horn, I just took off and went off back to the graveyards. But when I went back, Delphine was waiting there for me, and she invited me into her bedroom. So I told the boys to wait outside while I went take care of business. I closed the door, and but no, then it all went cloak and daggery, and it was weird. And she brought me downstairs, and it all changed. So then she tells me that she knows I'm the Dragonborn, and she had to put me through all that to make sure that she could trust me, and to make sure 100% that I am the Dragonborn, and so she will tell me everything that's going on. I have to go to Kynes Grove to kill a dragon and absorb a soul in front of her, and then she's going to trust me.
Very nice.
I think that's it.
Did you have any interesting stuff happen on Kynes Grove?
Let's see. Let's get to... I used the code phrase and the note from behind the Dark Elf. Give me a second. Sorry, I'm checking my notes here.
No, you're fine. It's just, when I showed up to Kynes Grove, I don't know if... Are you given the option for her to travel with you or whatever? But I just decided to meet Delphine there. And when I showed up, she started attacking me immediately. And I said, oh my gosh, what's happening? You told me to meet you here. Is this just some sort of setup that you have for me? And why are you attacking me? So I quickly went up to the Mages College, got out of there so that I could see if I could get a spell tome for Calm, even though I'm pretty sure Delphine is powerful enough that Calm wouldn't even work on her anyway. But I went and got that anyway, and then I came back to Kynes Grove, and then she didn't attack me. So I don't know what happened in the meantime.
That's weird.
That she was attacking me, and then all of a sudden she didn't need to attack me anymore. But I was really confused by that, so I was just curious if anyone else had anything similar to that happen.
The only thing is that you killed something that you weren't supposed to, or killed somebody in front of her that you weren't supposed to.
Yeah, I am brutal. I just like to slaughter everything in my path, so it could have been one of any numerous things. No. So, Victor, did you get into Kynes Grove all right and get up and meet your dragon?
Oh yeah. It wasn't too terrible to kill. I'm using deadly dragons, which makes them a little. They tend to drop all kinds of fire or shock bombs and things like that, but that's a pretty low-level dragon, that first one there in Kynes Grove, so it's pretty quick kill. So I didn't have any trouble there. I did have some trouble getting on the way there, though, because I finally triggered the Boethia quest, which triggers at level 30. And but for some reason, I don't know why, some mod somewhere or something I've done over time has bugged the quest. So I get to the point where I kill the thrall on the altar, and that's it. Nothing happens after that.
Oh no!
Yeah, Boethia never speaks to me after that. So I got a thrall stuck on the altar of Boethia.
But you're playing in a you're playing on the PC. Is there a command, a console command that you can use to
there
push
is
that through?
I'm really leery of using those set stage quest or set. It's called set stage is the name of the command, because if you're not careful with it, it can bug out other things. So I just leave it alone. I mean, if it was the main quest or something like that, I would probably either go back to a save and have to replay a few hours or something. But I keep saves pretty up to date. But when something like that happens, you try to go back a ways just to try to clear out everything. But in this case, it's just one quest. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I looked it up online, and there doesn't seem to be any. It's a mod. Something's conflicting with it, or has stopped the script somewhere along the line. So
I thought Slythe maybe had a special relationship with Boethia.
Well, he does. He's very upset.
What have I done to upset you, Boethia?
But he's looking forward to the Mephala quest at Dragon's Reach, but also he's this last 2 weeks he's mellowing even more. Koznak has really grown on him a lot. And he's a really funny character, so I'm really pleased to have him as a follower. And so Slythe has settled in with Berlina, who is his other follower, and Koznak, and they make a pretty good threesome. I'm saving. I haven't even gone to the Dawn Guard yet, so I'm going to get my Frost Troll at a later time. So I'm just working on this for now.
You might have to open up your options for your secondary follower a little bit, just because when I was also assigned the armored frost troll, but after I'd gotten 2 normal regular armored trolls, both of those died, so I went back and got it. After level 20, it becomes an armored frost troll, and then, of course, that troll died as well. When I went back, I thought it would be a frost troll again, but it went back to being normal troll. So I think, unless I'm doing something wrong, you only get one shot at having Frosty in your possession. So,
I'll remember that.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, have you gotten into any fun stuff on the way to Kynes Grove?
I actually did Kynes Grove a while ago, so I don't remember. I did it before the last one.
Okay.
Because you kind of just roll into it, so I wasn't even paying attention, and I ended up there. So
yeah, exactly.
I just fast traveled there and killed the dragon and left. I think there was a guy I had to deliver a letter to there too. So
yeah, I had someone deliver a letter too.
Yeah, that was just a pretty easy dragon battle, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think his name was Salaknir or something similar to that. And you walk up to the burial site and you see Alduin shouting. Resurrecting this dragon, and comes back to life, and like everyone said, it's not the most difficult dragon, so he's not too hard to kill. But as soon as I dispatched with him, I picked up 3 dragon bones, 3 scales, 191 gold, and some other random, not really helpful loot. But when I turned back around to head back down the hill towards the house, I was immediately attacked by 2 frost dragons at once. They were super, super tough compared to the dragon I had just fought. And I ripped through all of my healing potions, and I was trying to shout them out of the sky with my Fusro Da, trying to stun them or whatever, and I died a bunch of times. And it was just really difficult. And I was just really surprised because I think last show someone had said, oh, the dragons don't start randomly spawning until you see Alduin do it for the first time. But it was just immediate. As soon as I killed that other dragon, they were on my ass. They whooped me hard for a good long while there. It took me a long time I had to keep reloading and keep taking potions and having my follower. I gave him all the ebony gear that I had with me just to see if he could take him down. But it was a good hard battle. And
Gear?
sorry?
You already had ebony gear?
Yeah, I haven't really, I haven't smithed any of it, but it's all been found in, basically from Death Overlords or whatever those guys are called. Whatever dungeons I've been in, I found some gear there. A couple ebony bows, an ebony shield, an ebony sword, which I know is some sort of ebony war axe that I enchanted with Soul Trap and the ebony bow. I gave both of those to my follower. I think Colin was asking last time. Colin, did you say your follower last time you gave him a better bow, but he wouldn't use it?
Yeah, the ebony bow. Just won't use it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I discovered that as well. I gave my follower an ebony bow that I enchanted with Soul Trap, and he still pulls out his longbow or his hunter's bow, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What if you just take the hunter's bow from him?
That's the one that comes with him, so I couldn't take it off of his possession for some reason.
It's not in his inventory, yeah.
Oh, it's not in the inventory. Okay, all right.
And it's his default weapon, so he will automatically use that. But he'll use the ebony axe I gave him.
Yeah.
That's weird, because I could take Stenvar's weapon.
That's very interesting.
Right, no, you can take the sword, but you can't take his Stenvar. Oh. Is that the guy who's sword and spell, isn't it?
He's sword and two-handed, and no, he's a heavy armor guy. I don't think he uses any magic. I think he does use a bow, though.
But yeah.
Well, why don't you try giving him a nice bow once you find one, Michael, and see if he'll use it at all. That'd be interesting to hear back on that too.
I'll have to try. I mean, I've given him other weapons I know he's taken. I haven't had many bows. I kind of stopped using it. Leveled up.
But I gave my follower the drain spell bow, as I said, and he would use that one. But you give him anything like an ebony bow or something really good, he just won't use it.
It's too nice. He gets intimidated by it. He doesn't want to break it and have you get all mad at him.
You try enchanting the ebony bow to see if he'll use an enchanted weapon?
Yeah, I've done that. I enchanted it with the I forgot the fiery soul trap.
Oh, okay.
And I gave him a basic one, and I gave him like a basic one that was enchanted that I found. I found one that was a hallowed bow. I gave him 3 different ebony bows. He wouldn't use any of them.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was just about to ask if you'd given him an unenchanted one and then an enchanted one to see if the enchantment was possibly the problem, but I guess not. Wow.
No, I think he's just doing it to annoy me.
Yeah,
he's a dark elf. Yeah, the elves come.
Yeah.
Yes, of course we are.
And so the next quest that was assigned was diplomatic immunity. And Victor, do you have a brief summation about what you have to do for the diplomatic immunity quest?
Well, basically, it is assumed by Delphine that the Thalmor have something to do with the return of the dragons. And so she contrives a way for you to get into a party that's being held at the Thalmor Embassy in order to sniff around and find any kind of dossiers or paperwork or evidence that the Thalmor are in fact behind the return of the dragons. So you meet her agent in Solitude and give him a bunch of stuff that you want him to smuggle into the embassy for you, and then you go and change into your party clothes and make your way to the embassy and go in. And so I've done this. I've only, believe it or not, after all the hundreds and hundreds of hours I've played this game, this is only the second time I've actually gotten this far in the main quest, because I just tend to sort of mooch around and mess with this and mess with that. So, and the first time I did it in total sneak mode, and I don't think I hurt a hair on anybody's head throughout the until the very end, where I think you have to kill 1 or 2 Thalmor at the very end. This time, I just went in and just killed anything that moved. And it was very satisfying.
So, two-handed sneak, yeah?
Yeah, it was just two-handed crossbow, anything I could find, just wiped them all out. And it's funny because the first one, my first playthrough, I didn't have any followers at all. I didn't play with followers for quite a long time, but as soon as you start attacking in the courtyard of the Thalmor embassy, your followers who are hanging out outside the embassy start attacking the guards outside. So you can hear stuff going on outside, but you don't know what's happening out there. So
they're having fun, Victor.
They're exactly having fun. I could hear Koznak swearing and giving all his lines, and Berlina's Frost Atronach stomping around out there, but I didn't. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
It's interesting. You could actually hear the commotion outside. That's really cool.
Yeah. But anyway, and so the culmination of that part of the diplomatic immunity is that you get into the torture room downstairs and you free a prisoner and get out with some dossiers that prove, in fact, that the Thalmor have absolutely nothing to do with the Return of the Dragons, but you find out some things about a certain famous person elsewhere in Skyrim.
Now, why would Delphine think that the Thalmor were resurrecting dragons? Where does she get that idea from?
I don't remember specifically. I think I'm sure there's an actual lore reason, but I think she just doesn't like the Thalmor. But I know I can't answer your question with any degree of accuracy.
No, I don't know the answer either. I was just wondering if anyone knew what. Well, she just has it out for the Thalmor, it looks like.
I think so. I think she just hates them, and she thinks they're the only ones powerful enough to bring a dragon back. I think that's the only reason why she thinks it's them.
Probably.
Yeah, typical Blade ignorance.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the Blades at all, except for Esbern, who's very lovable. Until he wants
a companion too.
I love towing Esbern around. He's super powerful. He's got.
Well, isn't his voice Max von Sydow?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So it's very. I really just like listening to him talk. So.
Yeah. 20 minutes of going back and you go, oh wait, I'm supposed to be doing something. You're just standing there listening to him chat away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you'll have to speak up. I'm a little deaf in my ear.
That's right. Yeah.
Thanks. Now, I was just interested what gear everyone snuck into the party, because you're told that you're not allowed to bring. They have really high security at the party, so you can't sneak any weapons in. So what? Yes.
Well, I had an interesting experience with that, actually.
Okay, go get into it.
Well, it was a silly mistake. I gave Malborn pretty much everything that I was wearing, forgetting that I'm not a very stealthy character in this, and I'm wearing heavy armor. So I got into the embassy, put on all my armor, crouched down to sneak around that first doorway there, and of course they heard me immediately and killed me.
Clank, clatter, clank.
Yeah. So I had to go back and sort of restart things and think it through a little better and bring some more appropriate gear. And then I realized I forgot my crossbow, but the second time around I killed everything. So.
Well, I just turned in my I'm still wearing bone mold, even though I could probably have some better armor at this point. I just like how the bone mold looks. So I just turned in my my bone mold armor and my Wuthrod two-handed axe.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even try to pretend to sneak anything. I was just taking out everyone that I could. And when you get out of there, evidently Delphine has collected the rest of your gear in a chest that she has somewhere, and I had forgotten that.
Oh, I did that before, yeah.
I was just like, where is all my stuff?
Yeah.
So it took me a long while to realize, oh crap, yeah, I left that with Delphine back in Riverwood. So I didn't have any of my soul collecting stuff or any of that for a while.
Yeah, I just take the basics in.
What's that?
I only take the basics in with me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's probably
unless it's your very first playthrough, and then you give them like 3 lock picks, and because you don't know what's going, you're going, hey, What? Oh yeah. Well, here, have a potion and like 2 lockpicks. All
And then
right.
you go in there,
I'll
you
see
go,
you at the party, man. You sit out there, you got nothing.
Well, the first time I did this with it was actually when I was playing, the first time I played the game on the 360, I missed the line of dialogue where she tells you that she's going to take all your gear, or I misinterpreted things, and so I ended up dropping all my stuff at the stables in Solitude. There's stuff all over the ground, and then went into the embassy, and then I don't know, I completely forgot about it. Went back, later, and it was all there, but it was kind of a mess.
Good. Sometimes you go back and that stuff isn't there anymore.
Yeah, it times out. Yeah.
Yeah, after you get in party, you're basically going down into the dungeon. That's where Victor said you get all your dossiers. There's one for Delphine. I believe there's also one for Esbern and maybe one for Brynjolf, maybe?
No, it's
somebody
a lot bigger than that.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Who
was the third guy?
I wasn't sure if he wanted to stay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go right ahead.
Yeah, those are upstairs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Esbern's is downstairs, and the other 2 are upstairs.
Yeah. But after you go down there and you find a prisoner, and you let him out, and then he in turn helps you escape as well, and he doesn't give you some sort of good information. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, you pretend that you're torturing him. You go talk to him and you say like, I'm not here to talk to you. And you go, oh, okay. And then you go talk to him a bit more, and then he goes, actually, before I let you go, what did you just tell everybody else? Yep. And then you make him tell him all the stuff. And that will either finish the quest, so those 2 guards will come in with Malborn, or if you go to the chest and get the journal that has Esbern's details, that'll end the quest as well. Those 2 guards will come in. But I snuck everywhere. Done the muffle and the illusion, the invisibility, and nobody saw anything. I backstabbed all of them without anybody realizing anybody else was dead. Went through these. Ronil was still lying in his chair. He was just sitting there dead as if he hasn't been moved.
Yeah, I stuck everywhere too, but I don't have invisibility on this one, so I used illusion. So I used the first set of guys. I used frenzy and let them kill each other. Then I snuck through and used fire rune and flame atronac, and didn't have to touch anybody again. And then did some frenzy on the other guys in the torture room area, so they were all dead.
Very nice.
By each other, and what's his the one guy, the named guy in the torture room? I can't remember his name.
It's Runninil or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. He glitched out and he was just standing. You know how you go down the steps to the torture room?
Yeah.
Just standing at the top of them and wouldn't move. I put fire runes right next to him and he didn't even move. He just looked at me and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to just kill you, I guess.
It would still let you kill him though, right?
Yeah, I was able to kill him. He froze up. He was just hanging out. He didn't care what was going on.
I've had enough of this life. Screw Ellen Wynnum. Just take me in.
Everybody else is dead. I'm going to go along with it.
So I just saw you recently post something about killing all the Thalmor, Michael. Was that on a different adventure?
No, that's what I just did there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Everyone have fun at their party?
Oh, it was grand.
Yeah. Did anybody have anybody else but the drunkard to correct this correction? Because that's the only guy I had.
Oh yeah, no, I love to have the Jarl of Morthal do it. She's.
You can't. I've always gotten the drunk guy to do it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was another option. Can you explain the Jarl of Morthal thing a little bit, Victor?
Well, if you have done particularly, I think it's the Laid to Rest quest. That's the little girl, the little ghost there, and you become friendly with the Jarl by doing favors for her. Then she's friendly to you at the party, so I had her do it. And the first time I went through it, I think I had Eriker. And the server, she says something about he keeps annoying her, and you egg him on, and that creates the disturbance. So that's the first one I did. But yeah, the Jarl of Morthal is fun. She says something about being, I'm an old lady, I can get away with anything, and then she goes over and starts yelling at the drunk guy, I guess is who she's yelling at, telling him he has snakes in his hair or something, and
yeah. On my second character, I done it quite light, and I had, the other Thalmor agent that's there. You've got Alan Wen, and then you got the other guy who's the Justiciar. He works out of Markarth as the guy who hunts down all the Talos worshippers. Well, I managed to help him out and find one of the Talos worshippers who are in the inn. So I got him to create a distraction on my second playthrough. That was awesome. Because I can't remember what he says, but he does go a little bit nuts, I think. Instead of just spouting all that loads of crap while I slip out the back. And he does say, I'm not going to get in trouble for this, am I?
That's good, I like that.
I must not be a very helpful person because I didn't even notice that anyone else gave me the option. It was just the drunk gentleman on the bench to the side there, and I didn't even notice him sitting there for a while. So I was going around talking to everyone numerous times, saying like, "Okay, who's going to create this distraction with me? I need someone to talk to." And then I finally turned around the third or fourth time and saw him sitting there. I was like, "Oh, it must be you." So I went up and talked to him, and he went out and created a scene enough for me to be able to sneak back into the depths of the Thalmor embassy. It's very nice.
I still like to do it with him though, because some of his spiel is the funniest. Like when he's gone on about Ellen Wen, where he's figuratively in her bed, not literally, because nobody would ever sleep with her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's funny.
You can always trust a drunk guy to make a good scene at the party. After you get out of the embassy, you're then I believe you're supposed to go talk to Brynjolf. Is that correct? So that you can.
You can speak.
Maybe he gives you a tip to go find someone in the Ratway, whoever you're looking for there.
You can also speak to like Dirge.
Yeah.
People, and they'll tell you where he is too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or the owner of the what's it called? What's the inn in Riften?
B and Barb.
B and Barb. Yeah, she'll tell you to go down the Ratway. But I mean, first after getting out of the embassy, you have to go back to Riverwood first, and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Grab your stuff again.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, that's the part I forgot to do, was get my stuff. I'd forgotten that Delphine had told me to leave all my stuff with her.
Yeah.
I was just running around. I was like, oh man, I need to take a potion. Oh no, I don't have any potions or lockpicks or anything. So after I figured that out, I then went on to a cornered rat. And Michael, can you give us a brief summation of what a cornered rat is?
Sure. You head to Riften. You find. Well, they tell you to find Brynjolf, but you find whoever we mentioned. They tell you, you can either persuade them or bribe them, depending on what level you are, and find out the information. Then you go search the Ratway Warrens for Esbern. You'll run into. Who will you run into? There's some Thalmor down there. There's the guy with the gloves who punches you in the face when you walk into that room.
Oh yeah. What are those gloves called again?
The pugilist.
Something.
Yeah, gloves with pugilist. Yeah.
He used to kill me all the time because I always forgot he was there.
And he definitely whooped my ass.
I set the fire runes up for him, and he just ran into him and died. So
he also runs into his own traps as well. So
he does. Yeah, excuse me, Michael. Just when I went through there at this time, he was fighting somebody else. When I got there, I just walked up behind him and whacked him, and that was the end of it.
Wow, what? I've never seen that one.
Yeah, it's weird.
So then you got to go convince Esbern that you're who you say you are. So you tell him about 30th of Frostfall or something like that. And then you have to escape and kill some more Thalmor and head back to Delphine.
Very nice. Anybody have any other interesting events besides the gloves of the pugilist guy?
Yeah, I was wondering, what does Esbern conjure in your playthrough?
I believe it was a frost in mine.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It was a storm.
Yeah, it was a storm in my one as well.
Yeah,
Mine
yeah.
was frost.
I was thinking about somebody who was attacking me. No, it was he conjured a storm in mine.
Because I had it once when I done it really, really early, and it was just a flame atronach.
I wonder if I didn't realize it. I guess he levels up with you.
He does, because I done it on one character where the last thing I done was the main Dragon Quest, and he had a flame thrall. So he basically had a flame thrall following him around the whole way to Castfire.
Wow. Yeah, I guess because I'm about level 40, so I was probably upper 30s when I did that.
Yep. So after you find the where Esbern's hiding out, he takes about 10 minutes to unlock all the locks on his door.
Yeah. It's who was that? Elaine had those locks, or Jerry? I forget.
I was gonna say it's like he's in New York City. Something episode of Seinfeld working out here. But after he gets through 10 minutes of unlocking the door, get in and you convince him of all the stuff that he needs to come back with you to Riverwood. And at this point, does he know? He's going to no, because it's a surprise to him when he sees Delphine. Is that correct?
No, because you tell him it's Delphine that's
do you?
Okay.
One of the dialogue options. I don't know if you have to tell him that. I think you do.
You can persuade him, I think. I don't know if it works or not, but I told him Delphine sent me and blah 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 30th of I think Frostfall or something.
Right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah.
I always try to use that persuade option when available, just because speech is one of my things. So I'm trying to level that up as any way possible. I find speech to be very difficult to level up. It's like not one of the skills like two-handed where you can just go whack something over and over and over again. You always have to find special scenarios for speech, it seems, in order to...
You know who we need to ask? We need to ask Quan how to level up speech. I was looking at his picture where it's got his levels where he showed he got 100 in illusion. He's got 60 in speech, man.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea how he's doing it, so we're going to have to go to One and to teach us how to do speech.
To load it up, or to get it up there.
Doesn't it help to to sell expensive stuff? Doesn't that help the speech?
Yeah, that helps, but it still moves super slowly in comparison to something like my two-handed is almost twice as high as my speech is at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been working on speech much harder than I have on two-handed. Two-handed is just something I use, in passing every day, but speech you have to find certain specific scenarios in order to improve it.
Yeah. Plus, I keep on murdering all the mercenaries and taking their ebony and armor and selling that, and it's still not getting up any quicker.
No. But what I have been doing with the speech is, if you go to, I always choose Riften, I don't know why, but if you go to any city, you go pickpocket a guard and try to take something of very little value, you'll get a bounty of 10 or less. You have to make sure that your bounty is not very high, because if it's high immediately, he'll just arrest you and take you away. But if you get a very low bounty, then it'll give the option of, would you like to bribe him or persuade? And I've gotten in the speech perk tree, I've gotten up to persuade. So I can choose that now. But then, so you choose you tell them to, I don't have time for this. Do you have time? And they say, no, that's fine. And so they will not arrest you. But then you go around to all the other different guards, and you have to be careful not to hit the same guard twice, otherwise he will arrest you on the spot. But if you just pickpocket something of very little value and get caught, then it will slowly start increasing your speech. And if you tell them to, persuade them each time that, I don't have time for this. Do you have time for this? No? Okay, then let's be on our way. So you go through a whole round on all the guards in the city, and it still only picks you up maybe one level after you've hit, 15 guards or whatever.
Oh, wow.
It just takes forever.
Yeah, I think the only time I've tried to purposely level it up is when I maxed out a character and did 100 and everything. And I was already pretty high by that point because everything else was leveled. That was one of the last things I did. So I was already 70 or 80 just from, playing the game.
Yeah, just selling stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just from the random stuff, and I just it was a grind. Ugh.
Well, I'm trying not to hit up the skill trainers yet, because I want to use those guys when it gets impossibly hard at the highest levels. And I know you can only use them up to, what is it, level 80 or 90? I think it's 90 maybe. And then I'm trying to not find any of the speech skill books as well, because I want to use those from 90 to 100.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to discover the books. Like, if I see a book that I think, ooh, that might be a speech book, I'll look it up real quick just to make sure it's not a speech book. And then I'll make a note to come back for that book later if it is a speech book. And avoiding all the trainers in that subject specifically. But yeah, I'm finding it difficult to get speech up. Maybe it'll start being easier once I get a couple more points into the skill tree. I haven't even looked at the higher levels of the skill tree yet. Colin, how's your speech doing?
Yeah, it's alright. It's 51 now. I'm just going to sell stuff. Keep on killing everything and taking all their stuff. So, and Aethys is pretty much a horse, so he can carry tons and tons of stuff. So I just keep on loading him all up with stuff. Sell all that. Plus, once I get that merchant perk, then I just make endless amount of really expensive potions, and then I can sell them to everybody.
Oh, potions, man. I haven't even thought about that. I should... Because I've been collecting a lot of ingredients, so I should just go make the most expensive potions I can and start selling those as well. I've been going only with jewelry for some reason. Or enchanting weapons that I find and selling those too. I didn't even think about making expensive potions. I need to go find a stream where the salmon are going upstream and find some roe.
That's such a yes to do that.
I spent like 20 minutes the other day just trying to catch a couple fish. It's ridiculously hard, and then you get swept down the stream as soon as you get a good angle where you think, oh, here I'll be able to catch them. Then you just get swept down the stream almost.
You just gotta smash. You gotta spam the button and just jump around a lot, and that's the only way to do it.
And get lucky.
Yeah. Just hope one jumps into your sight.
Yeah.
I heard one tip where you Fusro dot out of the water. You know?
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
But I don't know how. I mean, it's pretty hard to get that accurate, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably just as hard as jumping around in the water and hitting them.
That's right.
Well, another thing that I've been struggling with a lot is I'm looking for something that's enchanted with muffle. I think boots are the only thing that can be enchanted with muffle. But I haven't found a muffle yet in this gameplay anywhere. And I've done the thing where you save, then you kill the shop owner, and then you reload, and they'll have a whole new inventory. I've done that at least 20 times, and then I went to another city and tried it again at least another 20 times. Then I went to a different city and tried it again at least another 20 times. And I don't know if I've somehow got my game glitched out so that a muffle just is non-existent on a pair of boots somehow in my world. But I've spent hours now.
I've never really noticed it until I got to the thieves. Or not the thieves, the Dark Brotherhood.
Dark Brotherhood, yeah.
I've never noticed them out around anywhere else that I can recall.
Well, I went to the Dark Brotherhood because I actually wanted to get Shadowmere as well because I was tired of buying 1,000 gold horses. So I played through the Dark Brotherhood, and I took, they assign you some gear once you get in there. And then on the shelf there near the entryway, they've got like some shrouded boots and shrouded gloves or whatever. And those are enchanted with muffle, but they won't let you disenchant those for some reason. At least not in my game, they wouldn't let me.
I never knew you could. Have you done it before?
In my Poit character, where I got everything, all my levels up to 100, that's the only character I've ever maxed out. I've definitely had Daedra boots that were enchanted with muffle and sneak. At least in my recollection. I mean, it's been a while since I've looked at that character, but I could have sworn that I had boots that I could disenchant. Colin, do you have any idea?
Well, you just gotta wait until they drop, I think.
Yeah, I got it really early in this playthrough. I mean, I have, but I'm terrible at. I just don't remember where I got them.
But you got just like leather boots of muffle or something that you were allowed to disenchant?
Yeah, they just appeared in a chest somewhere or something. I don't remember even where it was. But because I have a pair of I enchanted a pair of leather boots with it that I was using for quite a while. I just recently got rid of them.
Yeah, the game knows what I'm looking for now at this point. It knows. He's just spamming. He's just killing all these poor shopkeepers. Trying to take advantage of it. We're going to not be very cooperative, and we're going to screw with him for a good long 3 hours. Gosh, it's so frustrating just to reload and kill a shopkeeper, reload, and just never see what you're looking for.
Well, I got to bounce.
All right, Michael. It was
Enjoy the rest.
Great to have you.
Yeah, cheers, Michael.
I'm going to go eat some dinner and get something to drink.
All right, sir.
See ya. Yeah, I got some wine waiting for me.
All right. It was good to have you aboard. And we've actually made it through the 3 assigned quests. So if there's anyone else that have anything you'd like to get into, Colin, did you have any narrative adventures that you needed to get off your chest?
Yeah, sure. I can go through everything I've done. It's quite long and sort of like, I was thinking instead of doing it on the podcast, I could do it as a separate update, and then you could add it in so you guys are not just sitting there listening to me reading off from the phone.
Well, I mean, that's a good idea too. If you just have like a highlight or two maybe, just off the bat, maybe something you could describe to us real quick, because I know Victor maybe also had some plans he had to get to this evening as well.
Yeah, my daughter's on her way, so...
Okay, so yeah, just give us a quick one or two of interesting things, Colin, and then, that's a great idea to actually give us a audio feedback that we can tack on to the end of the episode.
Yeah, sure. So, after I finished the other time with at Fort Dawnguard, I had that's where I finished on the end of the last podcast, and then it goes on from with Asus and the dog in tow. I head back to Riverwood to see this friend about the horn. I go inside, and the barman tells me to see the old lady about getting a room. I use the code phrase from the note and move behind the dark elf and the dog just in case. I get directed to a side room and wait, but whoever this super spy is, he's not stupid. He sends the old lady in with the horn instead of coming himself. I don't like games, so I take off at the horn and decide to deal with this guy later. I'm role-playing as in he thinks it's a guy and Delphine's just some nice old lady who dropped off the horn.
Is your dog that you have in tow at this point, is this still Bran? Is this before Bran met his untimely end?
Yeah, this is just after I got Bran.
And did you enjoy having him?
Yeah, so after that we head off to High Hrothgar to get Fush Rodar. So I get to see the Greybeards, and it doesn't seem to bother them how I use the powers of the Dragonborn. They just talk about how it's their duty to train me, and I ain't forthcoming about my methods or my agenda. One of the quiet ones teaches me the final word in the Fush Rodar shout and gifts me with his understanding of it. I understand the true power of the shout now, and I'm eager to try it out as quickly as possible. I turn and see the elf. I find enough restraint not to use the shout on him, but not enough to prevent the grin from spreading across my face. I think he knows. So the Greybeards get all ceremonial and ask me to listen to them chant the dragon language. They actually knock me for 6 with a couple of words, but I don't let it show. Afterwards, they tell me I can crash there if I need to, and I grab any supplies. But they don't have much, so I just head out. And then from there, I head off to Mizolft and do the Mage's quest and things like that. And it goes on and on and on. So, but a few nice things happened to me when I was traveling around. But it's all in the notes. It's just going to take ages to go through. So.
Well, that's great. Do they give you a bed you can use and storage and everything? Could you make a High Hrothgar a permanent home if you chose to?
Yeah, you can sleep in all the beds.
Really? Huh,
yeah, after when they say High Hrothgar is open to you, after you get there, you can sleep in all the beds. I don't know whether storage is safe or not.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, probably not.
But it's the same in the Sleeping Giant Inn? The bedroom that's on the left, the one that's nearest towards the back wall, not the one nearest the door, the one that's towards the back wall. That one you can permanently sleep in after you become friends with Delphine.
I really feel bad for the barkeep there when Delphine finally when you finish the cornered rat, you get back and you actually started the next quest. She walks out and says, I forget his name, but it's yours. I'll probably never return. And after she walks out the door, if you look over it, he's sort of looking wistfully at
the door.
The distance. I feel really bad for him. He's obviously sweet on her. So she's gone. That's very sad.
Poor buddy.
Yeah. So.
Ain't that a hell of a thing?
Yeah. Well, I did Lost to the Ages finally after it glitching out on me a little bit. I finally managed to get it running and got my Ethereum crown. So that's nice. I really like that little piece of equipment.
And can you remind us what the Ethereum crown does for you again?
Sure. It allows you to retain the last stone that you've used and actually use a second. So you can be under the influence of two of the of what do they call them? Stones? Something I can't remember.
Standing stones, I believe.
Standing stones. Thank you. Yes. So
are you still utilizing the Lady Stone?
Yes, and I'm probably going to go for the Lord Stone along with it because that provides a lot of resistance to magic. So
the Lady Stone gives you, if I remember, health and stamina regeneration. Is that true?
I think it's a 25% buff or something like that to health and stamina regeneration.
That's a pretty good percentage. And the Lord Stone, what does the Lord Stone give you?
It's I think it's a 25% resistance to magic.
Resistance to magic. Okay.
Yeah. So if you have that and the Peryite shield, you have a pretty strong magic resistance. But I'm not doing Peryite, so I won't with this character. But those two combined are a really good resistance to magic.
Being a two-handed character, I find it hard to carry a shield around very much. I just give them to my my follower and stand behind him to take the most of the punishment, and then I'll run out from behind him as soon as I see an opening and try to bash as quickly as I can.
Yeah, I forget to block with my two-handed, which you can do, but it doesn't really. It works sometimes, and there's actually a block bash you can do with a two-handed weapon, but I've never really able to. I had it done to me in a kill cam once or twice.
I like the kill cam where you can grab someone by the back of the head with your two-handed weapon and just kind of like headbutt them to death.
Yes, yeah.
I like the decapitation one as well.
Yeah.
I've never used a two-handed broadsword, so I've never actually gotten that kill cam. I've never seen that one.
You can get decapitation with a warhammer and a battle axe as well.
Oh, can you? It surprises me because I generally use a warhammer and I've still never gotten the decapitation.
You need the perk.
Screen.
You
have to have the perk too. Okay.
Yeah, it's well, I can't remember what it was. It's the one that's like a 3/4 of the way up. I think it's just before the 100 one. You get two split off there, and one of them is that you have a 25 chance to decapitate your enemies.
Nice. I got one of my favorite kill cams today when I love the one where you're about to kill a dragon and then you hop on to his back and he flips you up into the air and then you come down and smash him with your thing on the back of his head. I don't know. I really get pleasure out of doing that one. I really like that kill cam. Do you have a favorite kill cam, Colin?
Yeah, probably the two-handed. Was it? You smack. I think you hit him in the gut with the warhammer, and then they bend over, and then you chop the head off. That is my favorite one. The dual wield one is good because you kick him to the ground, and then you use both swords and then you just do it cross, and then you split them across as a lightning. It's really, really vicious, that one.
Yeah.
But was it Aethys got a kill cam on Salak Nia, the dragon? Yeah, at Kynesgrove, he got the old smack him in the face and then jump on his head and then kill him with the axe.
Yeah, I love that one. That's a good one. Well, anything else, gentlemen, you'd like to get into before I go into the outro material here?
I'm good. The only other thing I did was the Daedra's best friend quest, so I could get rid of that rotten dog. But that's all. That's all I've done. So I killed him. I kept the rueful axe. So.
Now, just fair warning. One time when I was playing that quest, I decided to not kill the dog at the end, and that made it so for the rest of that playthrough that the computer thought that I had a follower with me at all times, but he was still sitting. He was still sitting back in that same chamber where you're supposed to kill him, and it took me forever to figure out why I couldn't get another follower. But after I eventually had adopted a child, the boy kept asking if he could pet the dog, and the dog wasn't there, and he was still back in that chamber. And so when I finally figured out, oh, it must be because I didn't kill Barbas, then I went back to that chamber to try to find him, and he wasn't there. Wow. So I couldn't kill him. I just bugged out for the rest of that gameplay. I couldn't figure it out.
So you never got the Mask of Clavicus Vile?
I guess not. Not. I have had it before. Yeah. In my last playthrough, I definitely had it because I left to put it on my follower because I like the horns. Yeah. The horns are really cool.
Yep.
So be careful out there. You need to make a decision at that moment if you're doing the Daedric's best friend quest. So either kill him or don't, but don't expect to have to be able to get another animal follower if you don't kill him, or if you just walk out and leave it hanging, and you can't go back and finish it for some reason. So at least that bugged out on me. I don't know if I'm doing something incorrectly there, because this game gets a little finicky with how you do the order of things sometimes.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Was it? I one time thought I didn't have enough trouble in my life, so while I was in the middle of doing the Daedra's best friend, I found a stray dog, and I took that on as well. So I had
two dogs.
My follower, Barbas, and another dog as well. But I lost him around Riften. I was selling around Riften, going in and out of doors and things like that, and then I came out once, and then the dog was gone.
Yeah, that happens with those stray dogs too, I found, yeah.
Just disappeared on me, and then I had a dog bug for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that sucks when that happens, because stray dogs, they'll evidently return. I've read online that they'll return to their point of origin, but since their point of origin is walking in between two spread out areas, you actually don't know where their point of origin is. It's not like you can go to the dog dealer at the Markarth stables and just buy a new one. Those stray dogs are all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find them again if you have to try to recruit them or tell them to go home or whatever.
Yeah.
It's easy to bug out those dogs.
Well, guys, I got to run too because my daughter's here. So.
All right. Well, it was great to have you aboard, Victor, and we'll see you next time.
All righty. Take care.
Cheers, guys.
We'll see you. All right, Colin. Do you have anything else before I launch into the outro material here?
No, as I said, I can go through all my notes if you like, but they are really long. I mean, it's up to you.
Well, I don't mind sitting here, but I think your idea of going ahead and doing a separate file that we can tack onto the end is a great idea if you'd like to do that.
No worries, because I still got some more to add, so it brings us to the end of this episode with the end of A Cornered Rat.
So that'll be good. We'll have you as our featured part at the end of this episode. We'll have you do your whole narrative story there. I've been enjoying listening to that, so we'll just have you do that on a separate file, and we'll tack that onto the end. Cool.
Lovely. Cheers, man.
All right. Thank you, Colin. I've been Andrew, and my character's name is Mania Ababna. You can follow me on Twitter at IndieAndroid, and I don't really have a blog or anything, but I'd like to encourage everyone to please upload a character pic onto the Facebook page for a Skyrim Addict podcast, and a Skyrim Addict also has a new Twitter account, so if you'd like to follow them on Twitter, it's a Skyrim Addict, and follow them and join the Facebook group. And please, if you have a few moments, go to the iTunes review section to give a Skyrim Addict 5 stars for Michael, because he works real hard on the show, even though he says he doesn't. I know that he likes to put a little effort in. And please send a play-along audio feedback to anyone who's doing a play-along with the Roundtable so that we can tack that onto the end here. And you can send that into skyrimroundtable@gmail.com. And just for future participants, our next show will be July 26th, and we will be doing 4 quests instead of our usual 3, just because there are 2 quests that you kind of do at the same time, or there's a possibility of doing them at the same time. And the quests will be Alduin's Wall, The Throat of the World, Elder Knowledge, and Discerning the Transmundane. So that show will be July 26th, and those will be the 4 quests. And there's something else that we wanted to get into. Keith in the Facebook group page mentioned that he likes fantasy football, and I am also a big fantasy football fan. And I know that Dale_A is also a big fantasy football guy. So we decided to come up with a fantasy football group for a Skyrim Addict, where we will make our team names all Skyrim themed, and we'll name the league in the Skyrim way. And we'll try to maybe come up with a scoring system. I'm not sure how, but that might reflect some cool stuff in Skyrim. So if anyone has any interest in that, please, we're trying to fill out the league, and we only have 3 people at this point. But you need a good 10 to 12 people to have fun with fantasy football. So if anyone out there listening would like to join up in some fantasy football action for Skyrim, please give us an email at skyrimroundtable@gmail.com, and we'll set that up. And I hope that everyone has enjoyed the show. And please, since Colin will be doing a little narrative story here, everyone stay tuned for audio feedback. And happy Skyrimming.
You're better than me at being a warrior. Common. It's a gift to me. I don't just spit flames lyrically, but literally. And the Elder Scrolls are scripts in which I've written your obituary. I am the Dragonborn, wearing a hat with badass horns. I'm Dovahkiin, not globally, you're nobody at all.
Hello, fellow Skyrim addicts. It's me, Kathleen, here to tell you about what has happened to my characters in the wonderful world of Skyrim. Well, first of all, my character Vorus is no longer of this game. My PS3 files for him got corrupted, and he is no longer. Needless to say, I was extremely upset. I have never played with a male or a magic user, and it was pleasant to do this for a while. But a big thanks to Andrew for letting me play with another character that I had. With that being said, here's an introduction to my new Roundtable character. Her name is Shiva Bornier. Her race is a female wood elf. Her warrior skill is smithing. Mage skill is illusion, and thief skill is light armor. My stat spread is magic 2, health 3, and stamina 1, and I have kept all of these from my previous character, Vorus. My spouse is Beaner from Morthal. I won his heart after I beat him. My home is Lakeview Manor. These I already had before I lost Vorus. My faction is the Dark Brotherhood. That was the same as Vorus. Shiva has already become the leader of that, so it was convenient. Also, my mode of travel is a horse. Now, I love the Dark Brotherhood quest line so much, and it was no-brainer to already have Shadowmere. In my opinion, he is the best horse in the game, followed by Frost. I have also adopted 2 girls to live with us at Lakeview Manor. So I did the next set of required playthroughs, a Blade in the Dark, Diplomatic Immunity, and a Cornered Rat. Nothing spectacular to report, save the fact that I whomped a ton of Thalmor. After this, I did a lot of smithing work, enchanting, and mostly illusion. I think I walked around my house using Muffle as often as I could. Doing this, I shot myself from level 34 to 40 extremely fast. Here is a list of my skills and where I am at. Also, I made a list of some of the quest line notes that I have done. So my alchemy is at 26, my illusion is at 48, conjure is at 17, destruction is at 18, restoration is at 17, and alteration is at 17, and enchanting is at 51. Like I said, I never use magic character, so these I'm trying to do as quickly as I can, illusion being the first one. My smithing is at 99. I'm trying hard to get to that 100. Heavy armor is at 17, block is at 32, two-handed is at 17. One-handed is at 54. And my archery is at 78. My light armor is at 75. My sneak is at 87. Lockpicks at 57. Pickpockets 24. And speech is at 71. My locations that I have discovered, 186. Quests completed, 50. Miscellaneous quests, 103. Main quest, 9. Side quest, 9. Dark Brotherhood is 24. I've killed 495 people. I've killed 272 animals. I've killed 64 creatures, 244 undead. I've killed 12 Daedra. My favorite weapon is the legendary Daedric bow, which I literally just made yesterday. Sneak attacks are at 607, and my favorite spell, of course, is Muffle. So that is it. I'm sorry it's short, but there really wasn't much to report except for Boris is lost forever, which I was really sad. I just got him to a vampire. So sad. So happy Skyrimming to you all, and I will talk to you soon. That's it. Bye.
Hi guys, this is Colin. I'm just going to do an update on my on the notes I had for the playthrough. I made some notes and I was reading them on the podcast, but it was too long because the guys would just be sitting there listening to me talk for absolutely ages. So I thought I'd make a separate one and tack it onto the end, so that way if you wanted to listen to it you could. If not, you can just fast forward through to the other guys, because I think after this, or maybe before it, the other guys are going to send in their own feedback of the stuff that you haven't already heard me talk about on the podcast. Alright, cheers guys, so I'm going to get into this now. It is long, it's probably going to be about 25 minutes long, so if you don't want to listen to it, just fast forward. But as I said, make sure that you're not passing through other people's feedback about their individual characters. So, right, where were we? I think at the end of episode 3, we were in Dawnguard, and yeah, so this is where I left off. So, here we go. Success. I returned to Fort Dawnguard, and after a little test by Eastran to see if I was a vampire, I headed over to the dog again, and Gunma must have the magic touch, because this time he did follow me. Nice. I went upstairs to see what Eastran wanted, only to see the vampire again. She wanted me to join to put stop to whatever her father is up to, but she didn't want Aethys along for the ride, so I refused and told her to wait till I came back. I still wanted to find out what this dark elf could do. With Aethys and the dog in tow, I head back to Riverwood to see what this friend about the horn. I go inside the inn and the barman tells me to see the old lady about getting a room. I use the code phrase from the note and move behind the dark elf and the dog just in case. I get directed to a side room and wait, but whoever this super spy is, he's not stupid. He sends the old lady in with the horn instead of coming himself. I don't like games, so I just grab the horn and take off. I'll deal with this guy later. I head straight to High Horothgar and deliver the horn to the Greybeards. They seem impressed. It doesn't seem to bother them how I use the powers of the Dragonborn. They talk about how it's just their duty to train me. And I ain't forthcoming about my methods or my agenda. One of the quiet ones teaches me the final word in the Fusro Da shout and gifts me with his understanding of it. I now fully understand the true power of this shout now, and I'm eager to try it out as quickly as possible. I turn and see the elf. I find enough restraint not to use the shout on him, but not enough to prevent the grin from shredding across my face, and I think he knows. The Greybeards then get all ceremonial and ask me to listen to them chant in the dragon language. They actually knock me for 6 with a couple of words, but I don't let it show. Afterwards they tell me I can crash there if I need to, and can grab any supplies I might need, but I don't have much, so I just head out. I take a look at the map on my way out of Iverstead and see that the marker that Mirabelle gave me from Isolde isn't that far off. I figure it'll be a good chance for the dog to learn how me and the elf do things. I also want to see how this elf will put this rather expensive Nordic armour to better use. Well, at least better use than that Elvis stuff I gave him. I head into the first building on the left, and then jackpot. It's full of loot, but neither me or the elf can carry it all. I take everything off him and throw it with his and my own stuff into one of the chests for safekeeping until I finish up in Isolde proper. I do spot a glowing blue thing in the corner of one of the rooms, but I'll leave it well enough alone. Akatosh knows what that'll do to you. We make our way through and everyone does their job. The dog is brave and he seems to like the taste of Falmer. The new armour the elf has on doesn't seem to make him take any damage. He just gets angrier and angrier the more they hit him. I should find out where the filthy fetcher is as well, just in case he calls me it one day. We get pretty deep in when I finally recover the crystal off one of the Falmer that so-called mage told me about before he died, but no key into the other room. I search around and end up coming across a walking metal machine the size of your average giant. I take a second, but luckily Aether doesn't. He heads straight for it, and so does the dog. Both of them take hits that would have ended me in a second, and still they fought on. We keep going, and finally it's junk. I search around and find a key among other things, like a steel plate helmet of major archery. I think I've given it to Aethys, but I've gotten used to seeing his ugly mug and decide to disenchant it instead. We get into the final room where this joke of a mage from Cyrodiil is, and I figure out what I need to know to find out where the staff is. I go to leave and that monk shows up again, and he tells me I need to head back to Winterhold. Fair enough, but I plan on grabbing all the stuff I can first, including all that dwarven metal I can carry. It actually takes 2 trips of walking all the way to Right One and walking all the way back again, then all the way to Isolde and all the way back. Whew. I can't help but feel that maybe I've pissed off the Daedric Prince of Cups and Scraps of Paper, who forces me never to grab a horse again. After dropping all the stuff off at home, Aethys and the dog and myself make the run up to Winterhold. Good job too. Turns out that Ancana proves that all elves are the bastards I always knew they were, and he tries to use the eye to blow up Winterhold. I didn't stop to ask, I just threw up an Atronach and tried to chop his head off, but no such luck. He uses the eye and knocks us all for 6. I seem to be okay, but Mirabelle is hurting bad, and she asked me to check on Aaron. And I gotta agree, this is his playground and he should be dealing with it. I get outside and find Aaron dead. Why am I not surprised? Tolfdir quickly takes charge and sends me down to Winterhold to clean up. I take a couple of the mages with me and the dog, and Aethys of course. We get rid of the last of whatever those things were, and head back up to the college. Mirabelle gives me the speech, and I let her know that I know where the staff is, and it clicks with something that Aaron told her about. I head off to Labyrinthian with the doorknob. Elves. On my way out of Winterhold, I get stopped by a courier with a note for me, and says it's for a friend, and I should check out Sheerpoint for a source of power. And I can actually make that on my way to Labyrinthian if I just go south and then west. So I do. I get to Sheerpoint and I spot a dragon. I sneak up some and then hit it with a shot from Jurik's staff and a staff of chain lightning I scored at Isolde. He lands and tries to take the elf head on, but Aethys knows his stuff and holds while I get in a few good shots with the ebony sword and Dawnbreaker. This dragon is a little tougher than the last, but he's a lot stupider too, as he tries to do the same tack again and again, which just makes him easier to dispatch. I get the soul and head up to the wall he was perched on, when this thing springs up from a coffin next to it. He's dressed like some kind of priest, but he sure as shit don't fight like one. He has a staff of fireballs which gives me pause, but not Aethys. Fire never seems to affect him, and Bran just goes at everything. He floats around like a bat of oblivion, which makes it hard to chase him down in heavy armour. We get him cornered outside Corvin joint, and Athos is still not letting up. He gets right in his face, and I take the respite to take his stamina potion and attack him with all my remaining strength. But Bran seemed to have the same idea. I only clip him, but he took too many hits from the staff and went down. There's no time to let up as the thing is still floating. I get my breath back and hit him with fire breath. He wavers, and I take the last of my stamina and healing potions and keep on hitting him till he's nothing but a pile of ashes. I pick up the mask it was wearing, and it has some nice enchantments on it, but it still doesn't make up for losing Bran. I pick up the dog and carry him up to the peak and lay him to rest in the tomb that thing sprung from. Yet another thing added to my list of vengeance, but I've got enough to spread around. I head back to Whiterun before going to Labyrinthian to clear my head and my backpack. I talk to Athos and find out all he knows about Daedric princes and if they have all such nice things as Dawnbreaker. Me and Athos head to Labyrinthian, and this time it's all business. No chances taken and no survivors left behind. Even the skeletal dragon doesn't faze us, and it was using froth breath, so I just laughed it off and carried on hitting it until it was just a pile of bones again. We keep seeing the ghost of Aaron, and then hearing a voice that drains all my magicka, but neither slows us down. We get to the source of the voice, and it turns out it's one of the things that we lost Bran to. The two of us lose our calm and attack the thing head on. He hits me with what I can only guess is Magnus's staff, and it drains away my magic, but I don't care. I'm going to do this up close and personal anyway. We bring him down quicker than the last one, as he didn't have all of Skyrim to run across. I take the staff and its mask and go to leave, only to be stopped by one of Ancano's cronies. I don't even listen to what he has to say. I shout him to the ground and hit him relentlessly with both swords until he begs for his life, and that's when I decapitate him. Athos doesn't even flinch. Good man. On the way back to the college, we stopped by Dawnstar per Athos' advice. We heard a rumour about the new museum we got a flyer about, and its ties to Mehrunes Dagon. And he was spot on. I got the locations from the pompous skeever outside. If he knows how to put them together yet, he's not letting on. But not to worry. I'll wait until I have all the pieces. Then I'll just have Athos beat it out of him. I get to the college, and it may already be too late. It looks like Ancano was trying to take out all of Tamriel with the eye. I speak to Tolfdir, and he wants to join me. You gotta give it to the old man, he ain't no coward. We get inside, and Ancano takes out Athos and Tolfdir with a paralyze spell. It's just him and me now. Good. It's just a pity I don't have his friend's head to beat him to death with. I gotta use the staff again and again to drain the magicka from the eye, and that's what makes him vulnerable. To not only me, but the creatures that keep on springing out of the eye. I get him down. I don't decapitate him, but damn near enough. As soon as he goes down, the others get up, and they help me dispatch these magic floating whatever things they are. When all the fighting's done, the monk shows up again. Typical. But he does put me forward for being the new Archmage, and Tolfdir agreed. So I make him Master Wizard. I now have a Nord running the college, and I now have Vignar waiting in the wings back at Whiterun. All I need now is to see which way all the other cities are leaning before I head to Windhelm to give Ulfric that final push to start this war for independence in earnest. But first thing first. I speak to Drevis, and he tells me I'm far beyond him in my knowledge of illusion magic. And I ask him to tell me something I don't know, and the bastard does just that, by telling me about illusion spells so powerful they can infect entire cities if performed in the right location. I make them my priority and find all the books for him. He gives me the first one for free, but the rest I gotta pony up for. I guess being Archmage doesn't get you everything. Sorry, throat's dry. After I finish up everything in the college, we head home to Breeze Home to prepare for the search for the missing razor pieces. I load up on soul gems and give a load of healing potions to Aethys, but keep the good ones for myself. I like him, but not that much. We hit the orcs first, and it's easy. They were only hunters, aside from the boss Gonzo. They're all pretty useless. He takes a swipe at me and does some serious damage though. I pull back and Aethys takes over. He keeps bashing him with that shield of his, so he can't swing the battle axe again. We kill him, take his key, and then his pieces. Next is Draskua. She's out in the Reach. I don't know too much about the area, and neither does Aethys, but after what we've been through, it can't be that bad. We couldn't have been more wrong. Draskua was a hag raven, but she wasn't the problem. The forsworn owl she surrounds herself with are seriously dangerous. None more so than these briar hearts. I told Aethys to wait and snuck in and used Mayhem spell to turn them all against each other, and that briar heart laid waste to everything in the ruins, including the troll. I went back for Aethys and told him what we were up against, and he just shrugged and said, let's get going. It took me, Aethys, and a frost atronach summoned twice to take him down, but it finally worked. I was hoping he was going to be the last, but there was another one of them. Luckily he was inside the ruins, and just used chain lightning. I sent in the frost atronach first, then me and Aethys circled around and started hacking away. After that the rest were easy, including Draskua. We take our piece and head off to Morthal for the last. On my way there I circle around the marsh and come across what seemed to be like a stray dog on the side of the road. He ran off to a nearby shack and we followed. We find his owner lying dead in the bed and a book telling me the dog is Miko. I look at Aethys and he knows what I'm thinking and gives me the nod. I give the scruffy little bastard a scratch behind the ear and tell him to come along with us, and he does. But I think I'll be telling this guy to wait behind a lot more. We don't want to feel that again. We get to Morthal and there's a group of stinky locals standing outside the Jarl's longhouse. I ask the first guy what's up, and lo and behold it's only Jurgen himself. He's just a farmer or something, so I give him the squinty eye and a flash of the ebony sword, and he hands over his key and the piece's location. I want to head to Stormstar straight away, but we picked up too much crap at Dead Crone Rock, so we run to Whiterun and drop all the stuff off and head due north for Dawnstar. We make it in one piece, and sure enough the guy gives up the info on how to reassemble the razor. We run straight there and the guy prays to Dagon to get it put back together. I pull my weapon and get ready to stick him in it and take the razor if it works, but it doesn't. He asks me to try, and what do you know? I guess Dagon likes heartless bastards more than he likes pompous Imperials in fancy robes. He tells me to kill the guy and I can have the razor. Nice. The guy begs for his life, even offers a load of gold, but this wasn't going to end any other way. He's fast in those robes of his, but I get a few good shots in before he runs off. But Aethys and the dog chases him down and finishes him. I head back to the shrine and Dagon puts the razor back together. I give him some lip about doing whatever I want with it, but he gets his own back and sends a couple of Dremora my way. They're tough, but I just refilled my ranks, and we're even stronger now than we were. We put him down and then head inside to his shrine and take out the other two. Then we rob him blind for good measure. We come outside and head south, but I get the smell of dragon and hunt around the top of the peak until I realise we're right above the bastard. I hit him with the staffs and then bring up the flame atronach. When he's in the air, I have the flame atronach up, and then I swap it for the frost one when he comes down, just to keep him busy while me and Aethys hack away and kill him without any hitches. I jump down to the World War with the help of the ethereal shout and grab the new word. I stand around and wait for Aethys and the dog to show and decide that we need a break. So we head home to Whiterun and have a nice long break. I leave the guys at the house and take a walk up to the Bannered Mill. I take a seat and Hulda sends this Redguard woman to serve me, and something clicks. He asks if she knows about mercenaries in the town. She gets all rattled and heads upstairs. When I get there, she threatens me first, then switches to a sub-story, And then finally she starts talking my language, gold. I get all the particulars from the prisoner and head off to the cave alone. I doubt I'll need the boys just for some pathetic red guards. I get past the bandits these guys are hiding behind, and their man Kamato tries to talk his way around me. But I tell him I've got gold coming, so we get to it. The Frost Astronaut keeps his men busy while I tear through them with the ebony sword and the razor. It turns out he's a pretty decent dual wielder himself. He takes out the snowman with one hit, so I drop him with Fusroda and finish off his men. By the time he's up, it's just him and me. I down a stamina potion and hold. He comes at me but swings in too early and misses, and I'm all over him. I get in 2 good attacks, but it's still not enough. He charges me and does a lot of damage, but before he finishes me, my throat settles and I can shout again. I stun him with Fus and then drop him with the sword and razor. I get back to Whiterun and claim my gold. I pick up the boys and I decide to head to Riverwood and ask about that friend that took the horn from Ustengrav. When I get inside the inn, the old lady asks me to join her in her room. A bit forward, but I like that in a woman. I tell Aethys and the dog to wait outside while I take care of business. I close the door as she asks, and then when things get weird, it's all cloak and dagger and full backs to wardrobes, and it finally twigs. I feel pretty stupid, but I give myself a break when I remember what she got past at Ustengrav to get the horn in the first place. She doesn't tell me everything, but enough to get me on board. We head off to Carnsgrove to kill a dragon, and when that isn't a good idea, I just chop my head off. I introduce her to the boys, but she doesn't seem to care. We don't meet much trouble on the way there, save a few bandits and a bear or two. When we get to Carnsgrove, I see a familiar shadow and look up. Ah, if it isn't another friend of mine. This isn't going to end well, is it? After some very apt expletives, Delphine tells me to get down and try to sneak up on the thing and get some answers. I give her my best "are you a complete moron" look, only to realise that I have the ebony helmet on. So I call that one a draw. The big bastard, as he will now be known from now on, circled over the burial mound a couple of times and then unleashed a Thume that shook me to my very bones. Luckily it was aimed at the mound and not on my head. We find out how the dragons are coming back to life, but now I suddenly realise we're dealing with 2 dragons now. Great. The big bastard starts talking again, but this time he's looking at me. It's mostly in the dragon language, so I don't get all the details, but the meaning is very clear. He turns to the dragon again, and he gives him an order in the dragon language, but this one I understand perfectly. We get to it, and he takes to the air. I raise the flame Archonok, and everyone is at the top of their game, even Delphine. Praying at the shrine of Talos by Windhelm must have worked, as my throat recovers in time to knock the beast with Fusroda every time he tries to use his fire breath. And when he lands, Aethys uses his bashing prowess to keep it to a minimum too. He's not as tough as the one at Shearpoint, but he sure does like to talk. We get him to the ground, and I lay into the side of him with Delphine, the dog, and the snowman, while Aethys faces him head on. The dragon gives Aethys an almighty whack, but he doesn't budge. He bashes with his shield and jumps on the thing's head and plows his axe into the top of its skull. Show off. I absorb the thing's soul, and me and Delphine get into it. Blah blah blades, blah blah Thalmor. Damn bastard elves everywhere I turn. We split up. Delphine heads back to where we came, and me and the boys head southwest past Iverstead, and come in the back way to Riverwood. When we get there, she has it all figured out already. She knows her stuff, I'll give her that. I don't make any detours. I go straight to Solitude. I was hoping to avoid this place altogether, as it's an Imperial stronghold. But we're finding out that big bastard is raising more and more of his kin. I suppose I'll just have to deal with it. I get through the gate and get greeted with exactly what I don't need. They're executing the gate guard. I think of intervening, but don't. Too much is at stake. And they're right, anyway. He does deserve to die. He was a soldier and he betrayed his king. He takes it like a Nord, though. But I doubt he'll get to Sovngarde after what he did. I head inside and meet the elf. I hand over my backpack with all the stuff in it and ask if he can fit Aethys in there too, but no such luck. I tell Aethys and the dog to wait in the inn until I get back, and I head off. I tell Delphine I'm all set and board the carriage. When I get inside the embassy, it takes everything you have not to use the mayhem spell. Not one person or elf in this place deserves his next breath as far as I'm concerned. Save the Red Guard, that smells like like he swam here through a lake of brandy. Funny, those people always get a pass. I liquor him up some more and he doesn't even need any convincing. He puts on quite a show, so much so that I nearly laugh out loud as I'm trying to sneak out the back with the elf. I grab my gear but decide to leave the clothes that Delphine gave me on. They make a hell of a lot less noise than the ebony does. I dual cast Muffle, close the door and use invisibility. I hear the foot soldiers complaining about the mages and take extra pleasure when slitting their throats. I head outside and do the same, but there's a mage leaning on the door, so I can't get behind him. I shore up my invisibility spell and pull out the ebony sword too. I tear it through him so much that I have to wipe the sword to get the pieces of him off it. When inside, I overhear a conversation, and one of them ain't an elf. I take out the guard and listen till they finish. The scumbag goes to leave, but I drop him before he reaches the door. The elf he was talking to disappears downstairs, and I search around for any info. I come across some dossiers, and my hand begins to shake. Acid. Right, so I'm going to stop it there, guys, because it's going to go on way too long. And then I'll think about doing it again. If you like it. If you don't like it, just let me know. So, because it took absolutely forever to do that, writing it and reading it as well. And it killed my throat. So, if you'd like to hear it again, just let me know, and I'll do it again. Alright, I'm trying to find the epoxy thing to be able to turn it off, but I can't find it. There it is. So I can stop it now. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Metal Shark Studio.